Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games to the Max. I'm your host Sean Garmer, here with me as usual, Mr. Mark Morrison.
Howdy.
And we have it feels like this happens every now and then now, but NVIDIA decided to bring out DLSS 5, and that started a whole AI controversy again. A Gen AI, I should mention. And yeah, people didn't like it. And even developers got into the act, making fun of it and saying that they didn't know anything about it either. So that'll be an interesting topic to discuss here, as well as can an AI, majorly AI made game actually be a big success? Straselnik says no, but could it happen? We'll talk about that. I got more Pokemon Pokopia to talk about. Mark's been playing more Resident Evil Requiem. Also have an indie game Rubato to talk about as well. Um, and yeah, another a few news and notes here to get into today, along with Crimson Desert, the big release, having its own set of controversies. So we'll get into all of that and more right after this.
You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
All right. Well, it's let's go ahead and start things like we normally do here with the housekeeping, just to get it out of the way. We do appreciate you, whether this your first time watching or listening to the show, or if you've been listening to many episodes now. You can always listen on podcasts, Video Games to the Max, wherever there are podcasts. I was informed by one of our loyal listeners that apparently I did not know that our podcast host puts like a gazillion ads into the podcast feed, so I will work on that to see if we can lessen that, because I know that's really annoying. But obviously, you can also just watch on YouTube. Just find us W2 Network on YouTube. You just hit like, subscribe, follow, all of that, and you'll know when we go live, which is normally around Monday. Is on Mondays around the 9:00, 9:30ish time, but it can differ based on my work schedule. But we do try to go live on Mondays, and then it'll be out right there on your feeds as soon as it's over, or on podcasts pretty quickly right after that. So yeah, make sure you check us out there. And also, if you subscribe on the YouTube channel, you can get the other shows that we have on offer. Of course, you can find those on podcasts as well separately. But if you subscribe to the channel, you can get our entertainment group, Riley's for Broadcasting, and they are reviewing the big movie Project Hail Mary right now as well. And also the anime show, Taku Cafe. They review pretty much seasonal anime every week. They're talking about all the big animes that are happening, the shows they're watching, and some of the news as well. So make sure you check them out if you're a big anime fan. And of course, go find those shows on podcasts if you prefer that way. But all right. Mark, you said you went to a convention.
Yeah,
So,
there was a local retro gaming convention on Sunday, so I went to that with a friend. That was cool.
anybody famous go to this one? Or?
No, this was like super local, or so yeah, no one really.
What, you get to like any cool finds or anything there? Or?
Yeah, my collection, or what I grabbed let's see, 5 or 6 things. I grabbed a Kingdom Hearts 3 like pre-order banner that has like Woody on it, and I think
Oh,
Donald
that's
and
cool.
Goofy. That's like super cheap. Uh, I got the Japanese copy of Mario Paint for the Super Famicom. There's like 9,000 cops going by my place right now for some reason.
That's
Uh, I just needed the insert, but it's a really nice copy, so yeah, sure. Uh, I got a Pro Action Replay for the SNES, which is like a Game Genie basically. I got Bloody Roar for the PS1. Uh, and I got Intelligent Cube for the PS1. I had a Japanese copy, but I got an American one also, or finally. And the two more expensive things I grabbed a Japanese copy of Super Metroid, complete in box, which is nice. That game is like weirdly hard to find, and like import stores occasionally have it, but like sells really quickly because you can play it in English, no problem. You know.
Right.
And the thing you might like, and this is the last thing I grabbed a copy of Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, the Platinum
cool.
edition for PS2.
Oh, the Platinum edition. Why is it the Platinum edition?
It has some extra crap in it. It has like 3 pins, a sticker sheet, a little CD case with like a calendar, like / postcard set.
Yeah.
And like a little Lego. It's not Lego, but it's like Lego adjacent figurine of Sora. That was like everything's still in the bag basically, except for the like sticker set. Like that was open, but it's not used or anything. But like the Sora figurine is like in pieces, so I'd like reassemble. No, it was fine because he kind of comes apart, right? You know. It's
okay. It's not one of those.
He wasn't
like broken.
No, yeah, he wasn't busted. He was just like just like his head, like midsection like came apart and like his hand fell off. But I was able to like piece them back together in the bag, so
nice.
That was cool. Yeah, there was about I don't know 12 or 13 people that are selling, or various companies selling games, or not companies, retailers, or just I bought Mario Paint, Kingdom Hearts, and Super Metroid from like one girl, and she had like she didn't have that many games, but she had like 30 or so like Super Famicom games that were all like in box and all like nice. Like she had like Rockman 1 through 3, which are like still expensive games, especially in a box. Yeah, it's cool. I like retro game stuff, so.
Yes, that is definitely Marc's bag there, the retro game stuff.
There's a guy who has his own little company, like repair company. So I gave him my Game Boy Light to fix. It's not broken, but it needs like just a cleaning or, some like very light maintenance work. So I'll get that back in a few weeks and, pay him off.
Hey, well, whatever you can do to get that fixed,
Yeah, prolong the life of it, basically.
Charging you much there, or?
He's like $20, which is, it's just cleaning like the battery contacts off because the thing works fine, but I don't want to keep batteries in it for longer than I should, and then I try to turn it on one day and it just doesn't work.
Oh yeah, that's true. Definitely something you want to avoid.
Right. But yeah, other than that, I completely finished now Resident Evil Requiem.
All right. Any thoughts on?
Yeah, I had to play that goddamn game 4 times, which is not like after the second time. A, you get to get really good at plowing through it, but then B,
but you got your infinite ammo and all that, right?
That was only the third time. So okay, I'll break this down. The first time I played it, I just played it on casual just to get everything, like all the collectibles, basically.
Okay.
The second time I played it to get this the speedrun mode, or the speedrun trophy. And you have to beat that in under 4 hours. And all the guides basically say pair that mode with the no healing mode and basically like no crafting. Like that's what almost all the guys say to do. I'm like, all right, fine. And people are beating the game like 2.5 hours. My time was you got to beat it in under 4 hours. Also, but I think the main thing. My time was like 3 hours and 40 minutes. Like I barely did it, but I was like, all right, as long as I did it.
Yeah, that's what matters.
And then that unlocked when I had the challenge points or the collection points to unlock infinite ammo. So the third time, there is one little quest in the game called like the final puzzle, I think. And you have to do some arcane shit in the game where you have to get this doll in your inventory. And then you like have to pair it with Emily and do some more shit. But to get the doll, you can get the doll in inventory by that point, once you get the doll in the inventory, you're already past the mental hospital.
Right.
So you got to play the game twice, because like the
Oh.
first time is just to get the doll in your inventory, and the second time it's in your inventory from the start. You just got to get to Emily, and then you complete the final puzzle. So that was the third time, was getting the doll.
Mhm.
And then the fourth time was the insanity run. And I had enough points to buy the infinite rocket launcher, so I blasted my way through that game.
That definitely makes it easier to have the
somewhat. Like, there are a few well, there's two problems. One, only Leon has the infinite rocket launcher, so the grace parts still kind of suck.
right.
You can unlock this like Uzi gun that she can use, but it's still not like 100% great. And then the rocket launcher, there are a few sections in that game, like one section in particular I had a ton of problems with, where it's like a sniping section. You have to like protect Grace from zombies.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to use a rifle, and I had a rifle, but I'm like, I got this rocket launcher, why not use it? But I kept killing Grace by accident. I killed her like 14 times at least.
Yeah.
She'd be too close to like the rocket when it went off, or and even Leon, like, you can only use the rocket like so far away or so close, because
Right.
if you like launch it right at your feet, he'll take damage. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I beat that in like 5.5 hours, basically, just like blasting my way through everything. So now I got the platinum trophy, so I never have to touch that game again.
Does it? So, well, you didn't really get to play it on the actual, like, I guess, normal difficulty without something helping you.
No.
Okay.
I mean, you could, like, there's four difficulties basically. There's
Right.
easy, or like normal, normal without the typewriter save, normal with the ink ribbon typewriter save, and then insanity, which requires a typewriter save. That's another reason to beat it on speedrun, is because you get a ink ribbon that has infinite uses. Otherwise, you have to craft them. And I said, I also don't want to deal with this bullshit. So in my insanity run, every time I did anything, basically, I ran back to the save room and saved.
Don't blame him.
I flipped a switch and I would run back and save. And I said, I don't care if this costs me time. I already got the speedrun trophy. I just don't want to die. But yeah, I'm
Well,
happy.
no, yeah, because you definitely want to have to redo it again.
Well, even on like insanity mode, like the game still auto saves, or you can still like retry certain sections, like no problem. So
Yeah.
it's really funny though. And on insanity, I mean, this is a slight spoiler, but one of the bosses you face as Leon is Hunk,
Right.
like the mercenary commander from, like, I think Resident Evil 2. And on normal and on easy, you just kind of have to like face him. But on insanity, there's a really funny glitch you can do where, like, you have to like run in, reset the room, and then you can run in again and almost instantly kill him, like, if you're quick enough. And I did that, and I felt very, very satisfying.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, that's about it for me. I didn't no Crimson Dawn or Crimson Desert for me, unfortunately. But
Yeah, I mean
you know,
that. Yeah, I know if any people that listened to the show last week, he did say he might play it, but hey, it was out of your hands there.
right.
So,
And the money
um,
I'm spending, I'm pre-ordering. I mean, I would just buy it maybe, but I'm pre-ordering Diablo 4, the new expansion. So that's what I want to kind of spend my money on.
okay. Oh, you're not on the WoW expansion.
No, well, they didn't send me the last one either, so screw them.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Like, I also, like, even if I wanted to play that game, I'd have to like play through like another expansion, the past expansion now. So,
right. Yeah, I understand
but
that
yeah,
for sure.
what are you playing?
Yeah, I played more Pokemon Pokopia. That game is still very enjoyable. Just something I can pick up and keep making progress, keep finding Pokemon, um, keep finding different things to build, and it is nice to just like you make your areas, and I keep finding different habitats, and of course that breeds more Pokemon to appear. I have to go find a Pokemon that can bulldoze, and apparently like the only one you can get that does that is Onyx. So I have to go try to find the habitat that will make Onyx appear first, so that then I can get Onyx, because I have all the other Pokemon that I need. So I can rebuild the Pokemon Center, so I can keep going with the story part, because it does have a story mode-ish thing where like you can roll credits, and then obviously you can just keep building on your world after that, or whatever. So I'm just trying to. It's the game that I play when I'm at my girlfriend's house and she's doing other things.
Relaxing game, or just kind of chill out or veg out.
Yeah, because I don't take my laptop with me, so it's like, and let's hang out and play this, and it's nice and relaxing, and it's not like, oh my god, it's like totally into it. I can stop at any moment. It's nice, or I can just have like a game, a sports thing on or whatever. And so aside from that, also been playing, which I'm reviewing. I'm probably gonna have this review done. Like if I can't write it tomorrow, Wednesday is my goal to get it out. Called Rubato. Another game where you play as a frog. Second game I've played this year, where you play as a frog. It's also a platformer, but this one's a 2D platformer, and it is it's it's similar in the way that like Mr. Sleepy Man and Herman and Pig. I mentioned that they just have crazy stuff happening, and this game also has that. So it's like starts out that your tutorial is in the toilet, and while that's going on, apparently the whole world is like exploding or whatever, and it goes into like a 3D thing to show you that, which is ridiculous. The main game, like I said, is on 2D, as you can see if you're watching the trailer. You're platforming with the frog, and you're like trying to find these planets so you can essentially create the planet again. So like I created Neptune again because I was able to find like 8 planets in the level. And it's just insanity. It feels like there's crazy stuff happening. It's funny. The writing feels very like 90s sort of inspired there, in a way. It's nothing like too special, I would say, about like what you're doing with the as the frog and a platformer, double jumping, finding different physics things to move around so you can get to the next platform, that kind of thing. But I think all of that combined just has been able to help me enjoy the game. And yeah, again, hats off. I've been loving this, the indie devs that are just doing silly things with their game. And that's really refreshing to see, when you have games that try to take themselves a bit too seriously sometimes. Yeah, these games you can just have fun. So yeah, been enjoying Rubato. So hopefully I'll have that review out. It's gonna get a in the higher score for me there. So
I'll wait for the sequel, Mr. Roboto.
But all right, that's it for playing games this week for us. So let's get into the news, and I apologize if people are sick of hearing about AI and this NVIDIA thing. We got to talk about it too. This is one of those times where we got to it late, so I'm sorry for that. But yeah, let's go ahead and start with a little bit of some preamble before we get to the main topic-ish things, because there's some other things that are kind of sort of related. that we can get into before we get way into the NVIDIA stuff. Also, the game that I thought we were going to get to talk about this week did sell 2 million copies within one day. So all of the hype and being the big open world game and the big game that of the month did pay off for them there. At first, just from looking at Steam, concurrence and all that, the thought was, oh, might have like around 500,000. And then, Pearl Abyss themselves announced that, nah, it's 2 million within that one day. So that's pretty amazing. Yes, this does have some, it was supposed to be like an MMO and all that stuff, and sort of connections to Black Desert, but not really. It's still its own thing. And for pretty much a new IP to hit 2 million, that's pretty great, right?
Sure. I don't mind it when a game has to like kind of retool itself, or like look at like Overwatch. Like that was supposed to be a MMO also, so.
But unfortunately, Crimson Desert wasn't without its controversies. It did not get like roaring reviews from everybody because obviously most people, it felt like, got time with it, right? You got at least a week or more with it, so it allowed them to get further into the game. But there's obviously the people that, the other set of outlets that get it like within a couple of days of release, and so you're having to like crash course through, and it apparently takes a while to get going.
Right.
I heard a lot of it takes about like 8 to 10 hours to get to where you're gonna be enjoying it. There was a lot of people that did not like the controls, which Pearl Abyss says they're working on, and they've already kind of addressed in a way of making the control scheme a lot more simpler, because it feels like they kind of built it for PC first and then control. I like some things that don't work well with the control stick, like having crouch and run sort of in the same
right
kind of buttons.
Like hold the run or tap.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is always annoying to me. I agree. And some people are not liking the combat as well. But the other parts of it, like the whole going around and finding things in the open world and kind of just getting lost there, and the typical things that you find in your open world, the quests and all of that stuff. It's just the narrative apparently is not really there for the game. It's more about the gameplay aspect. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not the combat. The narrative is the part that is not hitting for people.
Right.
It's the combat and all the other stuff that is. So like if you were coming into this as hoping you were going to get this great, awesome story, apparently that's not what this game is. It's more of the, I guess, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom kind of thing, where it's more about enjoying the aspect of being in that open world and all that. So.
I could have told you that without playing the game. Most of these games don't have good stories. I think it's hilarious when people try to defend Elden Ring's story. It's like, this game barely had a story, or it just has like vague phrases strung together, but it's not a story.
Right.
Like, to its credit, Neo 3 tries to tell a story, but like, who cares? Because I don't know feudal China history. So,
but technically, Neo 3 has like, it has the 3 games of lore to go
right.
With that,
or Japanese history, I think, but it's still like
Japanese history. Yeah.
Okay, like this is just an excuse. I don't think there were demons in Japanese feudal Japan, So
yeah, I mean, but it has an 80 right now on OpenCritic, similar score on Metacritic. So, yeah, it's another one of those games, obviously, that again people have been starting up that whole debate of, oh, the journalists hate it, and we're just trying, they're trying to be against everyone. I mean, because it has a major user score and all that stuff. And hey, look, sometimes it's not going to work for everybody.
Right.
The thing is that the having the games that are both critically loved and universally loved by the gamers that are not the critics or whatever, it's that doesn't always happen like that. You have way less instances of a Clair Obscure Expedition 33 than you have of a Crimson Desert. So, and also again, like that whole thing of, it does kind of depend sometimes when you get the game, right? Yeah. That does matter when it comes to reviews. That whole debate started again, the discourse about should you have to finish the entire, should you have to roll credits before you can review the game? Discourse started like, oh, how dare a bunch of these outlets have a review already up and there's no way they finished that game and all that. It's like, yo, man, at some point, like, unfortunately, because it can't, with the big games, it can determine whether you get access to that game or not, access to games further or not,
Also, my point or my view would be like if they keep the best shit in that game, like in the last hour of it or last 2 hours, and it's a 100-hour game, like that's a major failure on that game's part.
Yeah, I mean, and also like it sucks because like a lot of the improvements that they made this week might have changed people's perception on the game as well. It's like that's what kind of sucks sometimes about this culture that we live in, where it's like, oh yeah, day one patch that's going to solve everything, or oh, in the first week everybody's going to figure out what the problems are, so now we'll patch it really quick, and it's like, okay, well, people aren't going to go back and change their score now, right. So it's like, unfortunately, then the game gets marred with that, right? Or hopefully at this point, devs or publishers are still not. At least I would think maybe Prolibis is not. I forgot who the publisher is for them particularly, but I hope that that publisher in particular is not tying people's bonuses to them getting a 90 on Metacritic, right, or whatever. Because that sucks, but part of that's on them as well, right? I don't want to get too inside baseball or whatever on that, but I just think the whole, like, let people, however people want to review the game, as long as they're playing it and they're giving it the time, then that's what matters. But I do agree that, look, it's 100, if it's a 50-hour game or whatever, yeah, should you be playing 2 hours and reviewing it? No,
right.
But for outlets in particular, if what you care about, and I've had this debate with people on internally, we have a person that is, our boss doesn't necessarily care too much, but we have a person that is not the boss, but he wants to be, and he will get on you if you're not making that embargo, right? And unfortunately, there are people that the boss is the one that tells you, yo, you got this code, you got to hit embargo because that's going to affect me. And that reviewer has no choice, right? It's whatever they got to review the game at that point, and right. You got to remember, most of the people reviewing the games for these outlets are the time that they're using to play the game. They're not getting paid for that. They're getting paid for the actual writing. And then on top of that, sometimes how many hits your review gets after that can determine how much you get paid as well. So it's like, I think people lose that fact of like, oh, you guys just get to play games all day. It's like, no, your job is to do the writing part. The playing games part comes out of your time. And if you do other things or you have other reviews going on, heaven help you, talk about having no life. So, and I'm not saying pity the people that have to do that, because look, those jobs are nothing compared to even my day job or doctors, plumbers, all those other people that are out there working hard all day. That's not what I'm trying to get at. I'm just saying that misconception that seems to happen all the time is a bit of a misnomer. So, but anyway, I want to get off this topic because that tends to like drive people away, and I don't want to do that. They did have their own little spat with generative AI as well, the Crimson Desert team, unfortunately. There was some 2D visual props that were created in the early stage iteration as like an experimental AI generative tools. And kind of similar to what happened with the Expedition 33, they got left in the game. and
Sure.
people found them. Well, look, this is the story that Prolibus is saying. We kind of have to take their word for it. We're not part of that team. We don't know. Obviously, people are going to rail against that and say that's not true. They always had the idea to have that in there. Blah blah. You just got found out. It is what it is, right? People love to hate. So I'm going to go on the side of we have to take what Prolibus is saying. I don't really think it's a big deal because they're trying to take it out, right? Similar to what happened to Expedition 33. They actually went out and took it out of the game as well. I don't think it's a big deal. Do you think it's a big deal that this was?
I don't mind it necessarily if it's like a temp thing or if it's not supposed to be obviously like final product, because like yeah, you're not going to design art for like a pre-release build or just some temp thing necessarily. But yeah, if it's like an accident or just a not a glitch, but just something just forgot to do, then I guess sure. I don't want to. I don't like. I wouldn't like rake them over the coals. And the fact that they said like, yeah, we screwed up, as opposed to like them lying to defend it, like, no, we made it. Like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, no, I mean, and they had a pretty lengthy post explaining it and everything. It's not like they went away and tried to hide it and just said, okay, we removed it now. Y'all can leave us alone. Like
Right.
they went out, like you said, kind of took it on the chin and understood they made a mistake. And that's really what you want at the end of the day. You want people to own up to, hey, they made a mistake and we're going to fix it. And it is what it is. Right?
I mean, I think this is a little dumb though, because like people always use tools to like speed things along.
Right.
Like if you boot up not Elden Ring, sorry, if you boot up Elder Scrolls Skyrim, there's a big speed tree logo, copyright. And speed tree is basically, I mean, at the time it would have been what we'd call like AI tree, because you could just plop down trees that they procedurally generate, and
right.
But people back then wouldn't call it AI; they just call it a tool. That yeah, some designer Bethesda's not going to spend all this time making trees. They're just going to license speed tree and they can get onto something else that's important.
Well, yeah, I mean, look how much outsourcing happens now with
Right.
AAA and even some AA. Like Expedition 33 had outsourcing as well. So it's like, if you don't have that, it's going to take even longer to make the game.
I think there are good uses of AI, but like I think people are a tad too overly critical or ready to like break out the knives on something.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like,
there's
okay,
a difference between the tools and generative AI itself.
Yeah, like when Rockstar released that horrible GTA collection, when AI tried to upscan it and all fucked up, like yeah, that's a problem.
Right.
But using this to like just generate temporary artwork for something that wasn't supposed to be like out in the game necessarily, like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's nowhere near as bad as what Aspire may have done with the Tomb Raider 1-3 definitive edition, where they introduced this the Tomb Raider 1-3 remaster collection, where they introduced this challenge mode update, and then they also had all these outfits for Lara Croft that they made.
If you complete all the something keeps muting. I don't know if it's you or me.
Yeah.
It ain't
no,
me.
It's not me. It's that one didn't even show they were muted. So yeah, it had to be on your end, because when it shows you're muted, it has a little slash on this.
Yeah, but I'm not pressing any buttons or anything. So
it must be your mic like intermittently deciding it wants to grab something else.
But I wonder if you complete all the challenges. Do you unlock the nude raider outfit?
No, but I mean, the thing is, they were accused of essentially making these outfits with AI. Spire came out and said that no, it was made with their art team. Another case of like, I mean, who knows?
If it's made with the art team, fire the art team.
I mean, because they were bad. That's the problem, is they look bad. They look bad in general, right? So like that's the thing, is that, not to mention the key art, I've seen it, that does look and that's what most people were complaining about, was like, look, the key art that you made for that really looks like it was made with AI, right? And that's the issue too, is like when you decide to do that and you make one thing with AI, even if you don't, if those outfits weren't, you're gonna get accused of that, unfortunately.
Right.
And that's just something that you have to like deal with and be ready for. And the problem is that also Aspire hasn't really done itself any favors lately.
Yeah, they have a pretty nasty
Um,
track record for everything. So
so that's the thing is, I mean, also these outfits, they pretty much put them like front and center in this
right.
update. So I don't know. Again, have to take their word for it. I'm not part of the team, but I feel like this is more of a bigger chance that this might have been
Well,
made with
like
AI than
Crimson
you know.
Dawn or Crimson Desert was a mistake. This is like purposeful.
Yeah, and that key art really does look
Yeah.
like it was AI generated there. But look, they're not the first ones to do that with key art. We've seen a lot of people do that, and then they
Right.
go, "Oh man, oh here's the one that's replacement. Here's the one we actually drew," and it's like, all right, guys, it's we could have just not introduced that at all, and not you wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. Anyway, moving on from that, uh, this is wanted to get to this idea first before we get into the NVIDIA stuff. Strauss Zelnick was on the game business with Christopher Dring, and the whole thing about AI came up, as it seems to do when we have a lot of the big guys on to talk about, because it is a way it is the way that the industry is moving towards that, to make things easier for devs, and obviously publishers are looking at that as a way to unfortunately lessen the amount of people that are working, which is not great. But he says that he acknowledged that AI can assist developers in creating assets. It doesn't necessarily lead to the creation of successful games. It doesn't matter what developers create in an asset by simply pushing a button or spent 6 weeks crafting it. In the end, it's still an asset. However, he also notes that while a developer can create assets that may resemble a major release, creating a hit of that magnitude is a completely different animal and does require human engagement and creativity. The idea that AI could create something like GTA 6 is not even the littlest bit possible. You agree with him?
Yes and no. I mean, I think the goal for AI is to make it as powerful or as intelligent as it could do something like that. I mean, presently it couldn't, but that's what people want, or that's what the Chat GPT guy wants, because he's too much of an idiot to think anything else. Uh, but like AI, it's not creative. It's just remixing old ideas or what it has
Right.
in its
Exactly.
in its inventory, in its system. So it had to be fed GTA 6 online or GTA 6 first, and then it could create something, basically a soulless copy of it. Mhm.
Yeah, and I think that's the point that he's trying to make, is that without the human element of it,
Right.
it will become soulless. It will not. People will be able to root that out. I mean, obviously, as we get because even the creation houses that are Fortnite and Roblox, those are made by humans. So, if we get to the point where we have a creation house like that is solely AI and it is drawing people in, then
Yeah.
I think we would have to start worrying, right? Are people really going for the slop instead of going for genuinely human made things that really brought out creativity, had them think about people joke about the big friend games and name it friend slop, but Peak, the upcoming Big Walk, some of the other games that we've seen that become big hits because you could talk with your friends, Arc Raiders, whatever, is those are about community, but also there's people behind making those games. And yes, there's AI tools that were used, especially with Arc Raiders with the AI voice stuff. But that's his point, and I think for what he means there, yes, I don't think we're ever going to get to a point where you can go start to finish AI. Just you press the button, AI made a game.
Yeah,
And, yeah.
you speaking on a microphone, make me a Wolverine game, and it shits out a Wolverine game that's like AAA quality or something. Like, no.
Will there be a point? I think, and that's the thing we're going to get into with the NVIDIA stuff. Is I think this kind of shows us this is where it's headed, and we do have to be worried about what will games become, especially in the AAA realm of how much more AI stuff are we going to start seeing and less human involvement in that, and then it's going to start becoming where it's more AI, less human involvement, and it does worry me there. But I think at his point right now, and I don't think we're ever going to get to that point where start to finish AI creates the game. There's always going to be human involvement, and I hope that we always at some point push back the way we're doing right now and don't just eventually accept it. And say, no, we don't want that, so that we don't ever get to the point where it is more AI influenced than it is human influenced and making these games, because they are a tremendous creative medium, and they're not just something that we have to just sit back and watch like movies or TV show. You have to play the game, and like feeling that genuine touch from somebody that took the time to create that thing matters more, I think, in that instance.
Yeah.
But NVIDIA decided during last week that they would unveil the new DLSS 5, which is set to hit platforms later this year. It's going to use real-time neural rendering to generate photorealistic lighting and visuals. And they used Resident Evil Requiem as kind of the showpiece of this, using grace in an image showing DLSS 5 on and then DLSS 5 off, which is also the one that I used for the thumbnail. They also have one of Leon, and then they went and used Hogwarts Legacy, EA Sports FC, and you can see what they're trying to do, right? They have more kind of enhancements to the face, so kind of makes it look more realistic, but you can obviously tell that it's kind of like that sort of cheap AI filter that you see and it's used in like TikTok and Instagram a lot. And it just doesn't look good per se. And this obviously led to everybody from devs to influencers to everybody just making it a whole meme the entire week of either taking pictures of themselves or pictures of their game or whatever, and putting the DLSS on, DLSS off thing.
Yeah, making fun of it.
I don't know. What did you think about this whole?
I thought the FIFA clip kind of looked okay, except like there's like a clip of like 3 players, and like one player is kind of like diving to the ground basically. He
Right.
looked okay, but there's like an African American player in the back, and he got like really dark, and I'm like, this looks weird.
I think sports is a little bit different because those player models are already
they're based on
like,
real people. I mean,
the ones that are going to look bad are the ones that are not based on the further away you get from the actual, like we tried to model it around that actual player. That's when it's going to look bad.
The Hogwarts one, the girl, like the old woman, looked kind of okay, but like when they did it with the main character, it looked bad.
Yeah.
And the Resident Evil Requiem one, Leon looked kind of goofy, but not Claire, sorry, Grace looked awful. My joke was, it looks like it's like the unholy child of like old Grace and Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, and like, I mean, also they picked like the worst picture they could possibly find of the DLSS 5 off thing, so that oh my god, look at the amazing like facial features and all that when they put it on, and it's like, dude, it doesn't look that. It's a beautiful game by itself. Like you just pick the worst picture so that you can have the big shock factor, and it doesn't even look that. It doesn't even look great at all. Yes, you
Right.
could say that it has. Oh, there's better lighting and whatever, but it's like it's that feeling of that was AI generated. You can say neural rendering and whatever, and that devs have final say on what this is going to do, but that means you are trying to push for this to be in games. You're trying to push for this to be represented, and yeah, it's just
the bigger problem with all this nonsense is like only a select number of cards, like the 5000 series, can use it.
yeah.
And gaming,
And this was also running on 25090s, by the way.
right?
Yeah.
So even if you have one, like it's not going to look like what they did. And then also, like, PC gaming is getting expensive now. Like, this might have been a neat idea like a year ago before all this AI shit like jacked up RAM prices, but forget it now. And who's like the market for this? Really? Like they're spending how many billions on this bullshit, and it's like, who's like, is this for customers? No. Then who's it for? Like your own stock price, just to say we can do it, but no one actually can afford to.
Well, I mean, because they're not doing was it new graphics cards or whatever. They're not they need to be able to have something that they're putting out there, because now they got to show, they're putting all this money in AI. Oh my god, now they got to show what's that next thing going to look like. And it's like, man, it sucks, because it's like we don't want games to eventually,
I mean, so here's a question: would you rather spend, even $800 on a PS5 Pro, or $7,000 trying to get this thing off the ground and like in a home computer?
Like, definitely not. No,
tough
not paying
choice,
that
really.
$7,000 for that.
Yeah, because a single 59 is about $3,800. So gotta get two.
Right.
And then there's the actual cost of the PC. So that's probably another $2,000 or $3,000. So
well, and that's the thing too, is like the worry is that not only is it this, right? It's what is the next Xbox going to be using? They're going to use Copilot and whatever other AI thing, because it's Microsoft and they got their own. We have already got Mark Sony on record saying the PSSR next evolution is better ray tracing and the use of AI to further enhance the upscaling and all that stuff, similar to what this is doing. And it's like, if games are going to be really using this more and more, we're going to get further away from that, from what games really need to be. And it really sucks, because it's like, look, I get it. The whole point is we're trying to lessen the budget. The budgets are overinflated and all that. But what that also leads to is less people actually working on the games, which is great for the bottom line, but it's not great for the industry itself. And that absolutely sucks. And again, great on everybody for pushing back on this. Just hope that this continues to be pushed back and not eventually we just accept it because our overlords NVIDIA said that you gotta do this. They're supposedly saying that devs have the final say how much they want to use and all of that stuff. But
all the devs came out and said like this caught us by surprise, so we didn't authorize this.
Yes, it sucks that, I mean, it's that, and Capcom was not really happy about. But the thing is, like, okay, you can't tell me that Capcom did not sign off. Maybe they didn't know that they were going to be used with that, and that NVIDIA just came with them and said, "Hey, can we use a little bit of Resident Evil Requiem in this trailer that we're doing?" And they,
I firmly could believe that, like, that they didn't know, or like, because I don't think they would have authorized it.
I just feel like NVIDIA could have found a certain way to kind of like not tell the whole truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, they told them it was going to be used for something, and then they turn around and they use it for this. And I could see how Capcom doesn't know, particularly, that it was being used for this specific thing. And it did catch them off guard. And yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not happy about how this whole issue went down for them, because they're very anti-AI, and it doesn't put them in a good look that your game is front and center. The first game featured in that trailer is your newest game. Obviously, it doesn't affect the sales or whatever. That thing already has 6 million copies sold. It's the best game, best-selling game of the entire year so far, and best-selling game of the month. But still, you know, it just it's not a good look for you. And I mean, we don't know what Warner Brothers Games is at this point, so I guess the Hogwarts part, and I'm sure EA probably doesn't care. But yeah, look, this is
EA's probably all for it because they want to get rid of people, so they're like, do it.
And then also, you know, reported first by Tom's Hardware, also the NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang came out, or Huang, I'm sorry if I said that wrong.
He's a listener.
Yeah, he said that, look, we're completely wrong. Everybody's completely wrong. We don't understand what they're trying to do with this.
This is like very much in line with the Diablo guy for Immortal, when everyone's got a phone, right? And
no, but this is essentially he just gave a bunch of word salad,
right?
To say, you know, it's neural rendering. We're not. We're using this is at the geometry level. It's not at the base level. You have more fine tuning that you can do with this, as opposed to what you could do with the NVIDIA with 4.5 and 4 before that. I think the further damning part is Digital Foundry, like, not standing by what they had to say, of just like, yo, you said one thing, and then because everybody got mad, you came back and said, oh, wait, we should have waited. It's like, no, the whole point of you being Digital Foundry is you're telling us the truth of how you feel about something. If that's really how you feel, hey, that's your opinion, right?
Right.
And not everybody has to like it.
Or if NVIDIA gets pissed, which is probably likely, then it's like, okay, then that relationship gets frayed, but you still got to stand by your opinion and not backtrack.
But the thing was, they said that they liked it. What they didn't like was everybody got mad at them because they said that they liked it. And everybody else was saying that they didn't like it. So it's like, oh, we're the only outlier here. We can't do that. And it's like, I think you actually hurt your credibility worse by coming out and saying, oh, we should have waited. Yeah, maybe you should have waited, and not rush to be first or whatever. But it's also like, hey, you said that. That's what you believe. Then it's not like it's a bad take. There are people that are defending that because they do want better graphics, and they do want, that's all they care about. And technically, what Digital Foundry does in pushing graphics and wanting the best graphics and the best mode for whatever game you're playing, that technically kind of works with what they do. So it's like, you know.
Well, all Digital Foundry cares about is graphics. That's one of their problems. But
well, I mean, but that's what their job is. Like they're the technical expertise people. I mean, that's, you know, if you care about that, I don't ever watch them because I don't care, right? Unless I happen to be caring about if I'm going to buy something on the Switch 2, that might be the only time. And it's a game that's out on something else. But like, it's very rare now because I have the new laptop that's even a situation. But it's like, for the people that it is, I understand that. It's just, look, this is probably going to be a thing that goes on and on. I wouldn't be surprised if NVIDIA walks some of this back or whatever, or they announce that there's been a delay in when they release this or whatnot. But eventually it will come out, and eventually it will do what they wanted to do when everything kind of pipes down and people kind of tend to forget that it's there, and it just starts replacing, you know, the current frame gen or the current situation with that. And it starts to become like, okay, well, the game's using DLSS 5. You can decide to turn it off if you want or not, you know. Again, I think it's going to matter more for next gen as far as the consoles go. Will that be something that we can turn off, or will it just be there and it will have to be used? Because that's how you're going to get the best graphics, is they're going to use all this upscaling stuff, and will it lead to the game being worse instead?
Right.
We'll see. But moving on to PlayStation for a little bit here. A letter received by, or not received, but it was kind of shown to them through contacts, Insider Gaming was able to find a letter from PlayStation that essentially said that they are discontinuing, phasing out the branding of PlayStation Network and PSN. So there's no word on what the branding will be now. I kind of just think that they're doing the Game Pass thing where it's just going to be called PS Plus. Like, really, what is PSN really at this point?
It's a cool name. It has a cool acronym.
I agree with that.
And it had, I mean, I think that's kind of one of the problems is like Xbox, like they kept changing the name of shit that people basically don't know what it is. So,
right. Or, well, that's why they got rid of this is an Xbox branding, because they're trying to kind of get rid of that. Yeah. Of everything is an Xbox now. So
imagine if they still had like Xbox Gold, or Xbox. Now Game Pack is just Xbox Platinum.
Right. I mean, technically, yes. So the PSN was sort of this is the internet part of it. Like, this is the online function of it. This is the digital store part of it, right? Now that more and more things require PS Plus, I do think eventually what they're trying to do is just kind of merge everything into, okay, this is just PS Plus now. And that'll be the branding. I just can't think of, why would you think of another name at that point? Because aren't you just trying to lessen the amount of things that people have to know and whatnot? So similar to why Xbox just got rid of the Xbox Live Gold thing, is so it's like, oh, it's another service we have to keep track of. We have to keep being around, and it's like, let's just make it all one thing. I wouldn't know. They could just come up with a whole different name for it, and also change the name of PS Plus as well. But it's just like, I feel like PS Plus has kind of just become a thing that we all know at this point. Right. And I wonder how many people actually confuse the two. Like, do you really know that it's like, oh, PSN is the actual digital store, and PS Plus is the service that you use to be able to either get the free monthly games or have the the actual like monthly games or whatever,
yeah.
So I hate it too. I hate seeing that kind of branding go away. Like, I agree with you that it is cool.
I mean, I think about like it's still the best one, because like Xbox is kind of messy, and then I've always hated the Switch Online. Their naming convention is just really dumb.
Yeah, it would have actually. I wonder if they would have just kept it as like Virtual Console Online or something.
Oh, they have the eShop, but it's like,
the eShop.
Quite it, but okay.
I mean, technically, that's always been called the eShop, so at least
right.
That sort of stayed around.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch Online makes sense. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just more of like, I don't know. I just feel like PSN is so
ubiquitous.
It is ubiquitous with that company ever since like the PS3 days, and it's the one that doesn't really go away. Also, because the PS3 is still around. You can get on, they just got a firmware update,
right?
Like, that store is still around, unlike the Xbox 360, which is down. Right.
That's what the update is for, is to kill the PSN store or PSN name.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if eventually, well, you do have to have it apparently if you still play Blu-ray discs with your PS3. It has a new like key that you have to download in the update, so you do have to do the update if you use it as a Blu-ray player still, which is crazy. Honestly, Blu-ray players are so cheap now. You don't need to still use.
Also, I would never use my PS3 even at the time to play Blu-rays, because like, this thing's temperamental as all hell. Like,
yeah, I think you could trust a PS2 probably more likely to pay your Blu.
Yeah. DVDs.
Yeah, your DVDs. Yeah. But All right. Speaking of the PlayStation 5, it did win the hardware race between it and the Switch 2 for February 2026. The Switch 2 is doing well. It is trending 45% ahead of the original Switch at this time. So that's good. It is still selling well, even though it feels like not a lot of people are talking about it, right? It's kind of like just there, but obviously Pocopia has helped a lot
Right.
with people buying Switch 2s. I know a lot of people that are like, oh, I didn't have a Switch 2 and Pocopia came out. It's like, oh man, I'm buying that right now. So I'm sure a lot of people have those anecdotal things with that, and that has helped the Switch 2 as well. And this is before Pocopia also. So who knows what the actual like March timeline will look? Could that help Switch 2 eventually, or succeed the PS5 for that month? I think obviously what helped a lot with the PS5 is that it probably was the place to play Resident Evil Requiem for most people, right?
Yeah.
Switch 2 top game was Mario Tennis Fever. No surprise there, but because that was their big release for February. But PS5 would have been the place to play Resident Evil Requiem, which is the month's top game and the year's top game right now. 6 million sales as far as the last time it was reported. So who knows how many sales it has now? And that's above, the staples, Black Ops 7, NBA 2K26, all that. So you can imagine that this will continue to be a big seller.
I would say realistically, like there's only about 3 games that could like take down Requiem's like sales for this year, and that'd be GTA, obviously,
Right.
Call of Duty, whatever if they come out with them this year, and then maybe Wolverine.
Yeah. That's
That's
going to be
about it.
interesting what Wolverine does.
Right.
For sure on that. I definitely think GTA 6 could blow everything out of the water.
Yeah.
I think Call of Duty, if it has a rebound, it definitely could.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're not making like another Battlefield game this year,
No, they're not. Well, who knows when they're making another Battlefield game again, because
right.
the way things are going with that, unfortunately. But speaking of, we know when this game is going to come out, and you guessed it right, Mark. You said it. May is when Subnautica 2 would have the early access.
Yep.
And it will. That is when it's headed. That they are still going to keep that date of. They don't have an exact date, but we have a window of sometime in May for Subnautica 2 to hit that early access and also go into the game preview on Xbox Game Pass, and it eventually lead to them releasing it on systems. They did release Subnautica 1 and the expansion on Switch 2
Right.
just last week, so I'm sure that's helping them with the sales as well. So, hey,
I mean,
cool.
I picked May because it's like 3 months before that September deadline. So
It makes sense. Like we're almost in April, and I don't think they were going to release it with all these other games coming out in April already. So like May kind of gives them a spot where there's not a lot right now. I feel
right.
Like. Assassin's Creed TV show setting has been revealed, and it is going to be in 64 AD Rome. Of course, this is the time of Emperor Nero and the Great Fire of Rome. So you can kind of get the idea of what the timeline is going to be for that and what kind of characters we're going to have there. They've already started filming. They've announced a lot of the casting as well.
I don't know anyone in the cast. They all
Yeah, I don't
cast
either.
unknowns. My two hope, or my one hope, and my one kind of opinion is, so in like some of the Assassin's Creed games, you have like the helper scientist guy, like Leonardo da Vinci or Ben Franklin. I hope in this one it's just going to be Jesus. He'll be like, I faked my death, and I know how to make these wrist blades. Here you go.
I think that would break the.
But like, I don't know. I think this game setting up in Rome was just kind of boring to me, or because like there's already been a ton of Rome TV shows. But I also don't know
yeah.
I also don't know like what historical period you would set this in then, because like they already did like a Valkyrie or like a Viking TV show, or at least a few of them. They've done. Now they have the Shogun show and other, some other stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm just not quite sure, like, what are you gonna set it like, 1700s, like the time of Ben Franklin or something.
I mean, I think they're also trying to kind of echo the whole like, oh, okay, Assassin's Creed 2 set in Italy. That's the game that's kind of kicked off Assassin's Creed for a lot of people.
Yeah, but that was also set in, like, the Renaissance, like the 1400s.
Right, I know, but I'm just saying, like, let's set good vibes for the game, because I think if you or for the show, because if you study an American Revolution, then I think there's a lot of people that may not watch that,
Right.
Especially with the the current climate going on. If you set it in like French Revolution time, like around where Unity was, it's like, well, Unity wasn't that great of a game, so like,
yeah, I get your point also, but like I just see it as kind of banal, I would say, or just kind of like, sure, why not?
Yeah, I'm interested to see, like, will this be good? And like that's what I care about it.
I'm more curious, like, how big of a budget is this gonna have? Because I'm thinking about, like, compared to God of War, which actually has like somewhat of a known cast. Like, are they hiring these people because they can't get anyone else? Or
I think it's gonna be kind of like what happens with most Netflix things. This has to prove itself with whatever budget it has now, and when you get season 2, they'll up the budget.
But then it also makes you think about their rumored BioShock thing they're keep trying to make. And it's like, all right, sure.
To me, it's gonna follow that same. Which this week I will talk about it. I forgot to talk about it last week. The same kind of time frame of like One Piece Netflix show of the first season had actually a big budget for what it was, having to build all those ships and everything. But obviously they upped the budget for season 2. It just obviously had to leave some things out because they had to spend a lot of that budget on Chopper. But
but like one of the Netflix thing, I can't believe, and I'm happy, and a lot of other people too, that they're putting out Stranger Things on a disc.
I mean, they should. It's a freaking retro show. It makes sense.
Well, like, they released season 1 and 2 on Blu-ray and 4K, but that was it. And then they were like, screw it. But now
they should put the whole collection on Blu-ray. That's something people actually going to want to have.
Right.
I feel like, especially because they're going to keep making, shows with it. So why not? Also, before we get out the movie thing, they revealed the first trailer for Sonic 4, and one of your favorites, Nick Offerman, has been unveiled as part of the cast. So I'm sure that makes you even more excited for the.
I saw that also Jim Carrey's returning. I really hope that he's not in it for long. Like, no offense to Jim Carrey, obviously. I actually just like rewatched Sonic 3 like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
I kind of hope it's like, I mean, I know it's kind of getting overused, but like some type of like alternate dimension story where Nick Offerman is like Dr. Robotnik in his dimension. Because I'd be way into that.
Also, Kristen Bell is the voice of Amy.
So that's they announced that like a month ago. Sure, I'm not a huge fan of hers, like, voicing characters, but I guess she's good in Frozen, or it's like, and she has a unique voice. So,
well, we know you're not the biggest fan of Amy in general. So
I just hope how because like Sonic, well, all these movies have like the teaser right at the end or like the post credits,
right?
Like Sonic 4 had Amy showing up at the end, and Sonic 2 had, I think, Knuckles.
Yes.
I hope Sonic 4, like the post credits teaser, is as Big the Cat fishing.
I feel like who's left, right? Like, it's like you got to have Big the Cat, because it's like if you're gonna have a Sonic 5, who else is left?
No, it'll be Rogue or Rouge, the stupid bat.
Oh, you think so?
Because people are horny for her, all the furries and shit. So it'll be her.
Okay, that's not good. You think we're gonna eventually get to like a Sonic 5 and 6? Like, are they really gonna try to make a second trilogy?
Yeah, those movies make money.
Okay.
Like, not as much money as like Mario is going to make in a week or two, but they do quite well for, I think it's Paramount or Sony, whoever the fuck makes it.
Paramount.
Yeah, they'll keep making them. I kind of hope it'd be kind of nice if they kind of just ditch the whole like James Marsden and the wife, I forget her name, like had just Sonic on his kind of on his own. But I guess you kind of need that human element still.
Yes, they do. I feel like
that's
kind of part of the charm of it that makes it different than like the Mario movie or whatever is having.
That's what like I don't know if you ever saw that Sonic X anime show, but like the Japanese version is like way different because the American version pairs him up with like a little kid, and this is weird.
Yes. I watched some of that a little bit when I was a kid. All right. So we have to talk about. Well, no, we're not getting to that yet. Speaking of trying to make its own thing, they had the Minecraft live event, and following in the footsteps of said Mario is Minecraft. They're gonna have their own section, their own like theme park section in, is it UK in the London Chessington World of Adventures? It's gonna be out there in 2027. There's gonna be a Minecraft roller coaster. There's gonna be food themed around Minecraft. And yeah, and then it's being done with a combination with Merlin Entertainments, and they also announced the Minecraft Dungeons 2 will come out at some point this year.
I don't really care about this at all, but I supremely hope they hire that miserable Oompa Loompa chick from that Willy Wonka thing and have her like as like an actor in this stage show or something, because it'd be hysterical. I would pay to see that.
Well, that's if they do a stage show.
Or have like costume characters, or to be like. I just know like Steve is in that thing, and that's about it. But
right, yeah.
I don't know. Sure, why not?
Dungeons, the first Dungeons game did release like we were still in the middle of the pandemic, like at the beginning of it.
Right.
It didn't do that great. It wasn't like, I think it got like a 7 critically, or a 70 on Metacritic. Users didn't like it that much. I think it was something like more about for parents to play with their kids, but
right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the second game will do better, but it's not the like knock it out of the park thing from Minecraft that people were hoping for.
Right.
I think people are holding out for the Minecraft 2, and I kind of understand Microsoft. You got to milk this thing for, especially after the debacle that was Overwatch 2. You have to milk this thing for as long as possible.
Right.
I'm sure somewhere there is a Minecraft 2 being worked on.
But they already announced it, because I think Kristen Dunst is going to be in it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because her exact phrase is basically like, "I'm tired of losing money when I make movies."
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Also staying with Xbox for a little bit here. Starfield is the #1 pre-order game on PlayStation. No surprise. Every time there's a major, people have been waiting for this game for a while. So, and this is with the $69.99 premium edition that is ranked #1. Along with the Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight and the 007 First Light. They're both up there. And then of course you can get the standard edition for $20 less, for $50. I saw the Xbox, it's way too hardcore people getting upset about that, but it's like, yo, the game's old at this point.
Just imagine once they put Redfall on PS5.
Please don't ever put that game on PS5. They also did announce a new DLC, Terra Armada. That's going to be the last DLC, I think, also with this. And that the big thing is you are going to be able to like go on planets now, instead of just like, oh, we're going to like fast travel and get there
Right.
and like do
They
kind
should
of
have
nothing.
just licensed the tech from No Man's Sky.
I feel like they kind of made their own. I forgot to mention Bethesda was also another one that with Todd Howard making an appearance on that NVIDIA thing, and they also kind of had to make their own response to that, which was sort of like, oh, this is early on in the tech, don't hate on it now. It's like, oh, come on, man. Just, you can kind of get in on the fun. I know you have to kind of toe the line or whatever, but still.
he has to, because like, what if NVIDIA makes speed game? It's like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
It's already taken 15 years for Elder Scrolls 6 to come out.
A few less things for Xbox here. They Asha Sharma and co did reveal their first like big update, which is out there with Xbox insiders right now. You have custom colors finally. People have been asking for that, where you can actually go and mess with the entire color scheme of the system and change the hues and all that. It's not just preset colors. Right. You can also cancel quick resume per game, which is awesome for the people that play the multiplayer games, because quick resume will kill your multiplayer game that you leave on pause or whatever, and cause you to get knocked out. It will also do it on single player games, but not that badly. Just, it's good that you can cancel it based on each game. So mixes where I might actually use it. I think I just have it turned off, really.
Yeah, my question is like, it's like what, 10 games they said, or to have quick resume support for 10 games. It's like, what kind of life are you leading that you need to have like support for 10 games? Like, really?
Some people like to play multiple games at once, or maybe you have multiple people playing on the same console.
Show them what a save system is and move on. Like,
yeah.
And like, also like, I know a lot of people are down on quick resume for Xbox. How do you feel about PS5? Because it works for me. I mean, I don't know about you, but
I don't leave games running just in general. I mean, I like it for the console.
Yeah.
It works way better than Xbox does. Xbox sucks for that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was saying, like, when I used to go be at my girlfriend's and do the remote play, I'd have to call Anaya and tell her, please restart my Xbox because it will not recognize that the Xbox is on. So I had to eventually, and it will do this every time now. I have to restart the Xbox in order for it to connect to the internet, because it will start up and then it will act like it cannot connect. And then when I restart, it will then connect. So it's like all that so that it doesn't shut down completely every time. That part of it, the system part of it sucks. The quick resume part for the games is great as long as you're not playing multiplayer game. But the PS5 owns it on the system like, part, because I have that thing on rust mode all the time, and
the only game that like has problems with it and it's completely understandable is Diablo 4, because it's
that's a multiplayer game. It's
like,
online game.
Yeah, when I like log in or turn my PS5 back on, it's like, oh, you've been disconnected for inactivity. I'm like, all right, fine, but like that's it. Like I trust that thing like pretty implicitly. Like
as long as your power doesn't go out, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I never had a problem with it. So PlayStation wins on that one. They also had a neat update to the Portal that includes the 1080p high quality mode. Also, so if you have the Portal, another nice improvement to that there. They did also bring in the second half of Xbox Game Pass editions. This is where I will say that once again, I am not subscribed to Game Pass. But also this year has proven that you do not need the Ultimate. Unless you are a indie game connoisseur. And look, Planalana 2 is great. The Aerial Knights drop shot game is great. There's some other like neat little gems that they've released this year. But dude, they are releasing everything on premium. And they have for the entirety of this year. Like all the big AAA games or known indie games or whatever that have been releasing, they're all releasing on premium.
Right.
And it's like, what's the point of being subscribed to the $30 thing? They want to make sure that you're subscribed at some point, and they want it to be the $15 tier because, like this, they put Disco Elysium on premium. Cyberpunk 2077 releases; it's on premium also. Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 and 2 on premium. Like, so like they are making, even South of Midnight, Expedition 33, Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, or Village last month, all get released and they're all on premium. And it's like, what is the point of being subscribed to Ultimate if all the good stuff, especially if you like your older games, it's on premium? So,
Sure.
yeah. I'm just saying, like, save you the $15 and just do premium. I'm thinking about, like, if I need to just renew, because I'm not even renewed to PS. I'm not even subscribed to PS Plus like extra right now either, or essential. Because I don't even have time to think about playing games that I have on PS Plus monthly or whatever right now. But maybe I will eventually down the line, just to play some stuff that I didn't review or didn't buy or whatever. And also the Steam like spring sales going on. So, or did that end?
No, I think it's still happening.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, go get you some deals on some games that released earlier this year or older games.
Right.
Whatever, if you can, your PC can handle that. All right, so now we got to get into the stuff that kind of sucks about the gaming industry. Layoffs, woohoo! Ubisoft continues to do their after they've done this new Vantage Studios or whatever layoffs. The entire Red Storm studio of 105 people, they've all been laid off. This, of course, if you don't know what Red Storm Studio is, this is Red Storm Entertainment, which is founded by Tom Clancy himself in 1996, people. 30 years old. 30?
Right.
Yeah, 30 years old. And then they came out with Rainbow Six in 1998, and that has set it going. Ghost Recon 3 years later. And then, of course, they've helped on a lot of other games after that. They were working on the Assassin's Creed VR, but that kind of got killed, and then essentially after that they weren't really doing anything themselves. Really sucks for all the people that have lost jobs there.
I gotta really wonder if like they're done with Tom Clancy.
No, I mean Rainbow Six is still. Siege is still going,
but like
and Division 3 is going to happen.
Siege is like in like maintenance mode, or they're not like making a new one, or
yeah, but
updates. But like I was thinking about, I was looking at like Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2,
right,
and just going like, man, those were such fun games.
Yes, they were.
And it's like, what happened? Like, I know they tried to. I think they're gonna make a game called Patriot, and it like fell apart, or they canceled it or something. And ever since then, it's like,
and remember, Siege itself was supposed to be something else at one point,
right?
And then they changed it.
It's like, and also Siege, like I would want a single, or not single player, although that'd be nice, even like a co-op story based game. Like if I could somehow blast through like Rainbow Six Vegas with like Yens, it'd be awesome. But we're not going to dig out like Xbox 360s and play that thing from like 20 years ago. But I mean, like, Future Soldier sucked, Breakpoint sucked.
Well, they're still doing Ghost Recon as well. So
yeah. Well, they keep saying that Splinter Cell's safe, but it's for how much longer, And
yeah.
I mean, they claim that The Division is like a Tom Clancy game, but it's like not. I mean, it has its name because they bought his name from like 20 years ago. But it's not a Tom Clancy game,
Yeah, it has his name, right? And then The Division 3 will have his name as well. But kind of sucks again just to see it's like as far as like history goes.
Right.
So that's one of their oldest studios to go down.
Yep.
But I mean, look, we kind of talked about this when the whole Vantage Studios happened. They do need to kind of they have a lot of people working there.
Right.
They have an immense amount of people, like overinflated amount probably for the
Right.
amount of games that they make, right? And a lot of these games are in, like you said, maintenance mode, or
Yeah.
they're recurring games that they probably don't need this many people working. Look, okay, I want to say this. I don't want anybody to lose their job. I don't want anybody to not be working. Not saying that that is okay. I'm looking
Right.
at from a business perspective. That has kind of been an issue with them, aside from the obvious mismanagement, and that some of these people need to like not be involved with that company anymore. But look, you know, the founder ain't going nowhere, so
Right.
what can you do? But in a realistic setting, that is what's going to happen. Unfortunately, when you have what is it, 20,000 people working for you, and you have like what is it, like 20 studios that are all called Ubisoft something, it's like eventually that's going to happen. So this sucks to see. I hate seeing this, but there's going to be more of this, unfortunately.
Right.
We're going to keep talking about this throughout the entire year. Ubisoft's going to keep slowly but surely letting studios go by the wayside as they kind of, you know, shrink down and figure out the franchises that are still going to be making games. Obviously, you know, now that they have those like creative houses or whatever that they announced not too long ago. So
Right.
another company that keeps doing layoffs, Crystal Dynamics, another unfortunate 20 people have been dismissed from their roles, and that they are moving into new phases of development. They are working on the 2 Tomb Raider games,
Right.
obviously, that they have going on. Catalyst is the remake of the first one, right?
I guess I don't.
Well, they have the
Yeah.
remake of the first one that's supposed to come out this year at some
Yeah.
point,
And
and then
that's
they
the
have the new
one.
one that's supposed to come out next year.
Right.
So, and then they also partnered with 30 other people, unfortunate people losing their jobs again in November 2025. They've also let go of people in August and also March of that year as well. So, a year on, they've let go at close to 100 people. So
I mean,
again,
that's one of those things that like I'm sure that Perfect Dark closing didn't help.
yeah, that didn't help either.
But also I'm not sure. Like I like Crystal Dynamics, but I'm not sure like how big of a studio they need to be, or like they're not like some huge developer where they make like a billion different games. They make two,
Yeah, they make
and that's maybe two every 2 years as we just
right.
seen. But like it's also been a while since I made a game. Like Shadows of the Tomb Raider was kind of a long time ago.
Oof, yeah,
Um,
really.
and I don't think they've made anything else, or since then. So yeah, it ain't hugely surprising, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's not a huge amount of people. Still sucks people that did
Oh,
lose their
no.
jobs, but yeah.
I mean, they did somewhat Tomb Raider and Legacy of Kain remasters, but their last big game was Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, they
Yeah,
did. They did
everyone
make
else did
Marvel's
too.
Avengers.
Yeah.
That didn't work out so well either.
Oh, and this year's game is Legacy of Atlantis. Catalyst is a new one.
Okay, I figured I had gotten them wrong, and so I was like,
Yeah.
I wonder if Mark knows. But yes, unfortunately, Crystal Dynamics suffered more layoffs. Another company that also suffered more layoffs, Build a Rocket Boy, of course, with the debacle that was Mind's Eye, that was bound to happen. And of course, to further compound this, of course, this has been announced for a while. This was like almost at the beginning of the year that they announced that this would eventually happen. Insider Gaming did, but it has now officially happened. It makes more sense after you have another round of layoffs, more bad press. IO Interactive has canceled not only the Hitman crossover with Mind's Eye, but also the entire partnership publishing with Build a Rocket Boy. So now Build a Rocket Boy is in charge of publishing of whatever they're doing with Mind's Eye, while Leslie Benzie continues his tirade about that
Well,
people were.
it's not just him. It's like also like the CFO is going like, oh, these people sabotaged us, and
Yeah, come on,
insane
man.
bullshit.
We're gonna keep on with this. Like there was no sabotage. This game just y'all rushed this out because I'm sure that there was a funding issue, and I don't blame IO Interactive because they got their own games that they're dealing with.
Right.
Namely the 007 game that
They're
needs
an
to be a
actual
hit.
story developer with like a pretty good track record.
Right. Like, but they need that game to be a hit. They don't have time to be messing around with
Right.
Build a Rocket Boy here and whatever this is. And unfortunately for the developers that had to suffer the large part of this,
I think it was the CFO. It wasn't Benzies himself, but it might have been someone else who was like, we discovered who the saboteurs were, and we're going to put a mission in the game where you take them out or something like that.
Yeah, and they were saying that it was somebody at Rockstar was like trying to sabotage them or whatever because they were scared about the game.
You guys are like crazy, Yeah,
it's like, come on, man. So stop with that. Another thing that again we talked about this. They recently just acquired 5% of Capcom. I did mention I think that this was basically already in the works, but Savvy Games Group has officially fully acquired the ByteDance studio that makes Mobile Legends Bang Bang, Moonton, for over $6 billion with a B. My goodness. But this game is not a joke. It is one of the top 10 mobile gaming titles in all of the world, and also big in the esports scene. Has 110 million active users and has been downloaded 1.5 billion times. So, I mean, it makes sense, I guess, why we're putting in that much money or whatnot. But goodness, it's a lot. Yeah, man. I don't know what to say with that. It's like we talked about this, like the whole Saudi being involved constantly with buying little pieces of video games. So far they haven't. It seems like we'll see with the EA thing, right? That will be the big telltale sign of how involved will they be really.
Yeah.
But all right, unless you had something else you wanted to bring up.
Go ahead. Well, you want to talk about One Piece, but I was thinking I was driving earlier today. It's funny that EA bought a bunch of car developer studios, like racing game studios, and then closed them all down. And it's like, yep, that's a good use of their time and money.
Oh, Codemasters, yeah.
Codemasters and the Project Cars guys. Then they made that one WRC game, and like, all right, fuck this. And then they're still making
Grid as well. They made a Grid game.
Yeah, and then and they're still making an F1 game, but I'm sure that's only because of like a licensing contract.
Well, I mean, the F1 kind of makes some money.
Okay.
So,
but
that's still big, so they kind of need to have the F1.
What are you talking about, man? What about WRC?
Yeah, man. So you know it. Yeah, so One Piece Netflix season 2. It's probably better I didn't talk about it last week because I gave more people time to watch it.
Sure.
I kind of like speed ran it because love One Piece and all that. This season was much better flow wise.
Yeah.
Obviously it helps that they had a whole season to kind of figure that out and whatnot. Look, not everything's perfect about it, but I think obviously it's not like this show has a limited budget. I thought they did Chopper awesome. They did his backstory episode fantastic. Look, it's never going to deliver. I think the same thing happened with the Nami part. Like, it's never going to deliver the same like gravitas as the anime does, but they do a really good job of trying to do it. And they do it in their own way. Like, I thought they did really good casting with oh my god, Katie Seagal as the Dr. the doctor that at first was supposed to be Jamie Lee Curtis, but she had to turn down the role because she had to do something else. And then the kind of like sort of not unknown, but he's really not a big actor that they had to play the main doctor, who's the friend of Chopper. He did a fantastic job. I thought that was awesome. Everybody kind of like got to expand the role in this. Still think that the main core cast is really well done. I thought they like everybody got like their time to shine in this set of 8 episodes, so they did them great there. We got to meet Brooke, the person that's the character is going to be Brooke eventually. They did the oh my god, what's his name? The whale. They did that part wonderfully as well. They changed some things, but I think overall that did well. So I think like the main hit point of the season, really well done. I think a lot of people were hating on the Vivi casting, and I thought she did a great job as well. And some of the villains in this are fantastic as well. And the number 3 is to me like one of the standouts. Like fantastic job as well. Like I'm glad that we're gonna get to the whole Alabasta arc much faster than we did this season 2. So next year we're already gonna get Alabasta arc, and then who knows how many more arcs we're actually gonna get, because I imagine that they can't possibly do all the way to like Egghead.
No, I think they only said it was gonna be. I think
Yeah.
they said it was only gonna be 3-season show. So
yeah, so they're gonna do Alabasta, and that's kind of like it, I guess. Because that would be all of season 3 essentially. I think they said that well, I don't know. At first they were talking about like maybe 4 or 5 seasons. I don't know if they like said, okay, that's it at 3 for sure. Obviously, if it keeps breaking records every time it comes out, they might reconsider that. I don't know, but Netflix is weird like that. They will have a big show and then they will just cancel it out of nowhere. So,
yep.
They are not. I mean, even Stranger Things had to end at some point. So, the thing is, like, how much more of the budget can they keep expanding for that? We'll see. But I really enjoyed it. Thought season 2 was better than season 1, and yeah, I hope season 3 can go on that.
Yeah, I'm just happy my girl got some work.
Who is that?
Michaela Hoover. She does Chopper.
Yeah, she does she does a great job as Chopper. Also, everybody was railing on the casting of Nico Robin because all boobs. Fantastic job. That's her. And they did a great job of like making her actually be more important than she technically is in the anime around this time. Because she's kind of like in every episode you see her doing things, kind of making her seem like she's like the one stirring the pot, getting things going. And so again, look, every time I think people complain about casting and they do a great job of hitting on that. So credit to the showrunners and everybody that's involved in that and doing a good job there.
Sure.
But all right, let's end the show like we do every week with the games that are coming out this week. Some that I forgot to mention, I think when we did the show last week, we didn't do this. Racoin, the coin pusher roguelike, which is another like Balatro light, which is getting a lot of traction, is already out. You can play that on PC. Rushing Beat Extras Run of Brawl Brothers is a pretty cool indie fighting game that's out as well already on all the consoles and PC as well. Ariana and the Elder Codex is out on the PS5s and Switch. That's the latest like NIS game, Metroidvania, that's doing okay, seems like. And then you get the first like story of Borderlands 4 story pack. So if you're still playing Borderlands 4, there you go.
As anyone.
The like rhythm game sort of RPG that's also by NIS, it's Change Overlord, comes out on the 26th. That's seemingly getting some decent reviews. Grid Beat is another one of those like rhythm matching games that comes on the 26th. Kena Bridge of Spirits comes to Switch 2. Life is Strange Reunion also comes out on the 26th. That comes to Xbox, PC, and PS5. New Super Lucky's Tale comes to PS5 on the 26th. Screamer, which is getting some really good reviews and some kind of mixed ones, is like an anime visual novel with a really cool racing game mechanic where you have to use both the sticks.
I played the original one back in the day, like 30 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just like a straight racing game back then.
Yeah, this one is. Some people are saying it's like their favorite game I've seen so far this year. So it's getting some high praise from people that really like it. You got Super Mario Brothers Wonder Switch 2 edition is also out the same day. Midnight Walk is also coming out to Switch 2. If you haven't played that yet, you should. Marvel Maximum Collection is also coming on the 27th, along with the Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection. You interested in either one of those, or
maybe the Marvel one, but not Star Force, because I think those are like the DS or 3DS games. And I was like, no, thank you.
Nah, not your bag. Huh? And Project Go ahead.
I said they need to put Mega Man Legends 1, 2, and Tron Bond in the collection.
Man, that'd be cool if we can get Trombone in a collection.
Like that's like a stupid expensive game. That's like $500.
I have that on the PS3. That PS3 collection, the PS3 Virtual Console thing. Right. That's another reason why the PS3 is cool, because it has all those PS1 classics that you can still buy. I have Trombone on there. Project Songbird, the next Blumhouse game, also out on the 27th as well. So some games you should definitely check out for sure if you like eclectic different things there. Or maybe you're just getting that Super Mario Brothers Wonder Switch 2 edition, which the extra stuff doesn't look that great, but that's kind of how it's been with these Switch 2 editions lately. But all right. Thank you so much for everybody that watched, listen. We do appreciate you. Make sure you follow us, like, subscribe, all that, so you can know when we do the show next time. Listen to us on podcasts, and we'll see you later.
Later.
Please.